धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं आत्मविचारणैकनिपुणं तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं राधा कृष्ण Radha Krishna Padarabindau Bhajanamritau Radha Krishna Padarabindau Bhajana Nandena Mattalika Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghujugal Siji Krishna Kirtana Gana Natara Prema Padesi Veera Veera Janapriya Prema Udita Sri Chaitanya Vibhabharau Bhubibhubha Maranta Rapau Bande Rupa Sanatana Sadashade Sudarajalakim Dharnisha Ajavadasa Jadagada Ranna Takva Mandalasani Sada Tukshava Utvadi Nagane Sato Karunaya Gopi Bhava Samvita Dalahari Hello Amanam
Now then I made me a convincing. Oh dear, this many life. Now your time will be due for liberation. I have to allow you to go through your process because you are not open to anything. May be out of ignorance. The Sheniema quite papa, sign message now on the Waka Mazi Uda.
Hey Radhe Braj Devi ke Hey Nanda Suna Kuta Hey Radhe Braj Devi ke Lalite Hey Nanda Suna Kuta Sri Govardhana Pada Patale Kalindi Vane Taha Krishna Kirtana Ganana Karna Pakau Premamrita Vanidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Prira Mupurti Tau Sri Radha Krishna Ko Gopinath Sam Kanda Radha Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamuna Maya ki jai, Guru Dham ki jai, Swami Bhakti ki jai, all glories to the glories to the Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please can you
Haribol, good morning.
please accept my respectful obeisances of His confounded church of Prabhupada.
Okay, now who remembers where we left off?
Hare Krishna. The Krishna conscious is all auspicious. We have to start from there.
In the beginning of nectar devotion. Okay. In chapter 1, right? Om Agana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksuramilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. All right, so let's have everybody read a few paragraphs at a time. Who would like to start? Let me see who's here. Okay. Sarvamai.
Aswini Kumara, can you start?
Sarvamai, as long as you knew the spot, you can start reading.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Sarvamaya can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah. Krishna consciousness is all auspicious. Srila Rupa Goswami has given a definition of auspiciousness. He says that actual auspiciousness means welfare activities for all people of the world. At the present moment, groups of people are engaged in welfare activities in terms of society, community, or nation. There is even an attempt in a form of United Nations for World Health Activity. But due to shortcoming of limited national activities, such a general mass welfare program for the whole world is not practically possible. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, is so nice that it can render the highest benefit to the entire human race. Everyone can attract by this movement and everyone can feel the result. Therefore, Rupa Goswami and other learned scholars agree that a broad propaganda program for Krishna consciousness movement of the devotional service all over the world is the highest human, humanitarian welfare activities. How the Krishna consciousness movement can attract the attention of the whole world, and how each and every man can feel pleasure in this Krishna consciousness is stated in the Padma Puran as follows. A person who is engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is to be understood to be doing the best service to the whole world and to be pleasing everyone in the world. In addition to human society, he is pleasing even the trees and animals because they also become attracted by such movement. A practical example of this was shown by the Lord Chaitanya when he was traveling through the forest of Jharkhand in India for spreading his Sankirtan movement. The tiger, the elephant, and the deer and all the other wild animals joined him and were participating in their own ways by dancing and chanting Hare Krishna. Furthermore, a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, acting in devotional service, can develop all the good qualities that are generally found in the demigods. It is said by Sukadev Goswami in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 18th chapter, verse 12. My dear king, persons who have unflinching faith in Krishna and are without any duplicity can develop all the good qualities of the demigods. On account of devotees' high grade of Krishna consciousness, even the demigods like to live with him, and therefore it can be understood that the qualities of the demigods have developed within his body. On the other hand, a person who is not in Krishna consciousness has no good qualities. He may be highly educated from the academic point of view, but in the actual field of his activities, he can be seen to be baser than the animals. Even though a person is highly educated academically, if he cannot go beyond the sphere of mental activities, then he is sure to perform only material activities and thus remain impure. There are so many persons in the modern world who have been highly educated in the materialistic universities, but it is seen that they cannot take up a moment of Krishna consciousness and develop the high qualities of the demigods. For example, a Krishna conscious boy, even if he is not very well educated by the university or university standard, can immediately give up all illicit sex life, gambling, meat eating, and intoxication. Whereas those who are not in Krishna consciousness, although very highly educated, are often drunkard, meat eater, mongers, and gamblers. There are practical proof of how a Krishna conscious person becomes highly developed in good qualities, whereas a person is not in Krishna consciousness cannot do so. We experience that even a young boy in Krishna consciousness is unattracted to cinemas, nightclubs, naked dance shows, restaurant, liquor shop, etc. He becomes completely freed. He saves his valuable time from being extra extravagantly spent in the way of smoking, drinking, attending the theater and dancing. One who is not Krishna consciousness usually cannot sit silently even for half an hour. The yoga system teaches that if you become silent, you will realize that you are God. This system may be all right for materialistic person, but how long will they be able to keep themselves silent? Artificially, they may sit down for so-called meditation, but immediately after the yogic performance, they will engage themselves again in such activities as illicit sex, life, gambling, meat eating, and many other nonsensical things. But a Krishna conscious person gradually elevate himself without endeavoring for his so-called silent meditation simply because he is engaged in Krishna consciousness. He automatically gives up all this nonsense and develops a high character. One develops the high character by becoming a pure devotee of Krishna. The conclusion is that no one can truly have any good qualities if he is lacking Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
That's the whole section.
The second, should I read?
Well, let's get, is there more to that one? Is that the end of that section or?
Yes. Then after that, happiness in Krishna consciousness.
Okay, then next will be Ramchandra.
Ramachandra. Yes, read.
Okay. Happiness in Krishna consciousness. Sri Rupa Goswami has analyzed the different sources of happiness. He has divided happiness into 3 categories, which are 1, happiness derived from material enjoyment. Happiness derived by identifying oneself with the Supreme Brahman. And 3, happiness derived from Krishna consciousness. In the Tatra Sastris, Lord Shiva speaks to his wife. What is this? I'm reading from the screen so I can't see it.
Sati.
Sati. In this way, my dear wife, a person who has surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Govinda and who have developed pure Krishna consciousness can be very easily awarded all the perfections desired by impersonalists, and beyond this, he can enjoy the happiness achieved by the pure devotees. Happiness derived from pure devotional service is the highest because it is internal. The happiness derived from material perfection or understanding oneself is to be Brahman is inferior because it is temporal. There is no preventing one falling down from material happiness, and there is even every chance to falling down from the spiritual happiness derived by identifying oneself with the impersonal Brahman. It has been seen that great Mahavadi impersonalists sannyasis, very highly educated and almost realized souls, may sometimes take to political activities or to social welfare activities. The reason is that they actually do not derive any ultimate transcendental happiness in the impersonal understanding, and therefore must come down to the material platform and take to such modern affairs. There are many instances, especially in India, where these Mahadevi sannyasis descend to the material platform again. But a person who is fully in Krishna consciousness will never return to any sort of material platform. However, literally and affected they may be, he always knows that no material welfare activity can compare to the spiritual activity or Krishna consciousness. The mystic perfections achieved by actually success yogi are either in number. Atmana Sadi refer to the power by which one can
They
become.
are 8. Hare Krishna. Look carefully when you read. The
Okay,
mystic
sorry.
perfections achieved by
The mystic perfection achieved by actually successful yogis are 8 in number. Atma Sadi refer to the power by which one can become so small that he can enter into the atom. Modern scientists improvements also stone. Modern scientific improvements also enable us to enter into stone because they provide for excavating so many subways, but penetrating the hills, etc. So Atma Sadi,
Anima CD.
Okay, animal study. The mystic.
Anima, not animal.
Anima study. The mystic perfection of trying to enter into stone has also been achieved by material science. Similarly, all of the yoga studies or perfections are materially acts. For example, in one yogi study, there is a development of the power to become so light that one can float in the air on water. That is also being performed by modern scientists. They are flying in the air. They are floating on the surface of the water, and they are traveling under the water. After comparing all these mystic yogi studies to material perfections, we found out the materialistic scientists try for the same perfections. So actually, there is no difference between mystic and perfection and materialistic perfection. A German scholar once said that the so-called yoga perfection have already been achieved by the modern scientists, and so he have not concerned with them. He intelligently went to India to learn how he could understand his internal relationship with the Supreme Lord by means of Bhakti yoga and devotional service. Of course, in the categories of mystic perfection, there are a certain process of that the material scientists have not yet been able to develop. For instance, a mystic yogi can enter into the sun planet simply by using the rays of the sunshine. This perfection is called La. I can see you bring something on it, so I can't see again. Okay, thank you. Perfection is called La Gima, if I'm right. La Gima. Similarly, a yogi can touch the moon with his finger, though the modern what is that? The modern no, go to the moon with the help of spaceships. they undergo many difficulties, whereas a person with mystic perfection can extend his hand and touch the moon with his finger. This study is called Bhakti, or acquisition with his Bhakti study.
That word is CD, not Sadi. CD.
CD. CD.
CD. CD.
CD. CD is called Bhakti or acquisition with his practice CD. Not only can the perfect mystic yogi touch the moon planet, but he can extend his hand anywhere and take whatever he likes. He may sit in thousands of miles away from a certain place, and if he likes, he can take fruit from a garden. A garden there, this is practice study. The moon, the modern scientists, you go too far. So because of your list, I can't see.
It's there.
Please come down small for me.
Is there on the screen?
Yes, I'm reading from the screen.
Yes, you can see. It's visible on the screen.
Yes, I'm seeing, but because of your picture, so I can't see. The modern scientists have manufactured the modern scientists have manufactured nuclear weapons with which they can destroy insignificant parts of this. It's gone. I can't see.
It's your network, Prabhu. Let me help you here. The modern scientists.
No, nothing is on the screen. I'm reading from the screen, but nothing is on the screen now.
Yes, it's your network, Prabhu. It's your network. Everything is on the screen. Let me help you here. The modern scientists have manufactured nuclear weapons with which they can destroy an insignificant part of this planet. But by the yoga siddhi known as Isita, one can create and destroy an entire planet simply at will. Another perfection is called Vasita. And by this perfection, one can bring anyone under his control. This is a kind of hypnotism that is almost irresistible. Sometimes it is found that a yogi who may have attained a little perfection in this Vasita mystic power comes out among the people and speaks all sorts of nonsense, control their minds, exploit them, take their money, and then goes away. There is another mystic perfection, which is known as prakamya, or magic. By this prakamya power, one can achieve anything he likes. For example, one can make water enter into his eyes and then again come out from within the eyes. Simply by his will, he can perform such wonderful activities. The highest perfection of mystic power is called Kama Vasaita. This is also magic. But whereas the Prakamya power acts to create wonderful effects within the scope of nature, Kama Vasaita permits one to contradict nature. In other words, to do the impossible. Of course, one can derive great amounts of temporary happiness by achieving such yogic perfections. Foolishly, people who are enamored of the glamour of modern materialistic advancement are thinking that the Krishna consciousness movement is for less intelligent men. I'm better off being busy with my material comfort, maintaining a nice apartment, family, and sex life. These people do not know that at any moment they can be kicked out of their material situation due to ignorance. They do not know that real life is eternal. The temporary comforts of the body are not the goal of life. And it is due only to darkest ignorance, that people become enamored of the glamoring advancement of material comforts. Bhakti Thakur has therefore said that the advancement of material knowledge renders a person more foolish. because it causes one to forget his real identity by his glimmer. This is doom for him, because this human form of life is meant for getting out of material contaminations by the advancement of material knowledge. People are becoming more and more entangled in material existence. They have no hope of being liberated from this catastrophe. In the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, it is stated that Prahlad Maharaj, a great devotee of the Lord, prayed to Narasimha Dev, the half-lion, half-man incarnation, as follows: My dear Lord, I repeatedly pray unto your lotus feet that I may simply be stronger in devotion and service. I simply pray that my Krishna consciousness may be more strong and steady, because happiness derived out of Krishna consciousness and devotional service is so powerful that with it one can have all the other perfections of religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, and even the attainment of liberation from material existence. Actually, the pure devotee does not aspire after any of these perfections, because the happiness derived from the devotional service in Krishna consciousness is so transcendental and so unlimited that no other happiness can compare to it. It is said that even one drop of happiness in Krishna consciousness stands beyond comparison with an ocean of happiness derived from any other activities. Thus, any person who has developed even a little quantity of pure devotional service can very easily kick out all the other kinds of happiness derived from religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. There was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya known as Kolavesh Sridhara, who was a very poor man. He was doing a small business selling cups made from the leaves of plantain leaves trees, and his income was almost nothing. Still, he was spending 50% of his small income on the worship of the Ganges, and with the other 50%, he was somehow living. Lord Chaitanya once revealed himself to this confidential devotee, Kolavesh Sridhara, and offered him any opulence he liked. But Sridhara informed the Lord that he did not want any material opulence. He was quite happy in this present position and wanted only to gain unflinching faith and devotion unto the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the position of pure devotees. If they can engage 24 hours each day in devotional service, they do not want anything else, not even the happiness of liberation or becoming one with the Supreme. In the Narada Pancharatra, it is also said that any person who has developed even a small amount of devotional service doesn't care a fig for any kind of happiness derived from religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, or the 5 kinds of liberation. Any kind of happiness derived from religiousness, economic development, liberation, or sense gratification cannot even dare to enter into the heart of a pure devotee. It is stated that as the personal attendance and maidservant of a queen follows the queen with all respect and obeisances. Similarly, joys of religiousness, economic development, and sense gratification and liberation follow the devotional service of the Lord. In other words, a pure devotee does not lack any kind of happiness derived from any source. He does not want anything but service to Krishna. But even if he should have another desire, the Lord fulfills this without the devotees asking. Hare Krishna. The rarest of pure devotion.
Habo Salika.
Hare Krishna.
Salika Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, I'm trying to paste something into the chat, but it won't go. There's some setting, must be under your control. Usually I can do that.
What you posted is there, Maharaj.
Huh?
I can see your chat, Maharaj. You're chatting with me directly.
I want to paste something in and it won't work. Copy paste.
I don't know why it's, but the
write
room
in
is.
I can write.
The chatting room is open, but you are chatting with me directly. So maybe you select them to the.
Let's see if I can send it to you directly, and then you can do something.
Okay.
That's you, Hare Krishna Africa, right?
Yeah.
No, it just clicks, you know.
Yeah.
I can't paste anything. I've done it. Usually we can do it, but I don't know.
Yes, Maharaj, please, could you excuse me? Someone is at the gate. They kept on knocking the gate. I just come back in a minute.
Okay, in the meantime, Bhakti Prince, you want to read the next section? Well, from where there was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya known as Kolavetsa Sridhar.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, well, it's not on the screen now.
Maharaj, I don't know actually where we are because I just joined the class
Okay,
today.
I'm gonna put it up just right now. Give me 1 minute. Okay, there it is. So somebody can read? Dr. Prince, you can see it. It was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, please read. It's on the screen.
The rareness
There,
of devotional service.
there was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya known as Kolavecha Shrihara, who was a very poor man. He was doing a small business. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
I think we finished reading this side. Sarika Prabhu read it earlier on. So we are the rareness of pure devotional service.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm gonna do something else for a minute. This is something I think interesting and valuable for your studies. So I'll just show you this. Okay, Firefox. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Bear with me, this technology gets bewildering sometimes. Okay, now you see this. Now, first year Bhakti Shastra examination. Haribol?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah,
Yes,
everybody
can
can
see.
see the screen now.
Yes.
Yes.
Maharaj, it looks too small. The text are too small.
So I hope you could copy it out, but otherwise I'll send it to Salika or something. But this was the first Bhakti Shastra examination Prabhupada made, 1969. Gave 3 hours to. So it's it's really nice and something to think about while you're reading and studying anything, but especially now that you're taking the course. It's a little different than the modern questions. So Prabhupada said, answer any one of the following 10 of the following questions with reference scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Upanishad. And it's quite a simple test because, and Prabhupada was so personal. At the bottom, he says, send the answers with the contribution to my book fund. I shall personally examine the papers, and those who pass will be given a certificate. The minimum passing mark is 300 out of 1,000, only 30%. So he wasn't looking for, great memory, but he wanted. So someone read the first question. Who's next?
Who is Krishna?
Okay. So think about that. What would you say?
Krishna
Someone else
personality.
read number 2.
No.
Anandin Kam. I can't see the name.
Yeah. What is your relationship with Krishna? Hare Krishna.
Who can answer that? In one word.
Servant of Krishna.
Okay, good. Number 3.
What is expected to do with your relationship to Krishna?
What are you expecting?
These are essay questions. You write something, Okay, number 4.
What is the aim of Krishna consciousness?
Number 5. Raganuga.
What do you mean by religion?
What do you mean by religion? This is very important to go over sometime. Number 6.
Is Krishna consciousness a type of religion or religious faith? Number 6. Is Krishna consciousness a type of religion or religious faith?
Number 7. I'll read it. How do you distinguish between religion and faith?
It can religious or faith be changed from one type to another?
Okay.
Religion or faith be changed from one type to another?
Number 9.
How do you distinguish between changeable and eternal religion?
10.
What are the different types of religious faiths?
11.
Can religion be manufactured by philosophical speculation? Who created religion first?
Who knows? Prabhupada answered these are questions just from the sixth candle. Of course, Krishna did. Number 12.
What is the greatest common engagement of religious man?
Yes, yeah.
13. Hare Krishna.
13.
13. Do you believe that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead?
Number 15. No, yeah.
14.
Number 14.
If you
Number
believe,
14. If you believe, how do you substantiate? If not, what is
Somebody's
your
making a
reason?
lot of noise.
Nanda Kumar Prabhu. Kumar Das, please on mute. Mute, sorry.
Okay, so let me ask, I can't see the names, Anidam, Dinam. Do you believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Haribol? Haribol?
Yeah, I don't know, Maharaj.
Do you
I
believe
can
that
hear you
Krishna
very
is
well.
the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Pardon, you were saying who is there?
Just say yes or no. Do you believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Oh, please, yes, of course, 100%.
No, number 14. How do you substantiate that?
He is
Hare
the
Krishna
Supreme
Maharaj.
Personality of Godhead because he has the 6 opulences in full, of which no one in this material world can possess such opulences.
How
So
do you
that's
know that? How do you know that? How do you
well,
know
based
that?
on his supremacy, based on his supremacy
On what?
and authority, based on his supremacy and authority.
scriptures,
Anyone else?
our
Someone
scriptures,
says, why do you believe Krishna is God? What do you tell them? Talking about non-devotees.
our scripture says that, and the
Purpose of studying is to learn how to preach, so not just to memorize a few things.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna
There's a lot of noise. Somebody's making a huge noise. They're banging around or cooking at the same time or something.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah. Who's talking?
Yes.
Okay.
Please accept and have a
There's so many noise. You can't hear anything.
How do you substantiate your belief that Krishna is God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Please, thank you. Accept my humble obeisance, Maharaj. We can know this by the judges of the Sastras.
By what?
Our previous acharyas, by the judges of the Sastras.
I don't believe in your
We
Shastra.
were taught by the acharyas. The acharyas came up with these injunctions that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God.
And I don't believe in your.
And you can detest this from the Bhagavad Gita also. It has also proven that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead.
But we don't find Krishna in the Bible. Right? And this is, when you
Hare
preach,
Krishna,
Krishna
they
Maharaj.
ask you like this, so you have to learn. Don't tell you a story. Prabhupada was asked one time in a class, he asked that question. And so devotees were answering like you, oh, because you told us, because it's in the scripture, because Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada said, but they don't believe in Bhagavad Gita. They don't accept it. One devotee, he was very new and he'd never said anything before when Prabhupada asked for questions or anything. He was shy. And so devotees had given all kinds of answers like that, because the acharyas, because the scriptures, because this and that. Prabhupada said no. So this devotee just suddenly, he just spoke and he said, I feel it. I feel that Krishna is the Supreme. And Prabhupada said, yes, that's right. Feeling. Yeah, we can talk from our experience. That I chanted Krishna's name and I gave up meat eating and illicit sex and intoxication. There's something to it, Then, so another time, on the morning walk, Prabhupada asked the same question. And one devotee was there who had been there at the time when the other thing about was Prabhupada said no. But it's a matter of time and circumstance who you're talking to. If you're talking to someone who accepts the Bhagavad Gita, then you can give statements from the Bhagavad Gita, because there are many Mayavadis, they read Bhagavad Gita, but they don't know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, even though it says it over and over again. They don't catch it. I don't know if you can, on the screen share, I don't think you can copy this out. That's why I was trying to put it in this chat room, but so far I'm not able to do that. Something with the setting, because I've always been able to cut and paste things into the chat, but this time.
Hare Krishna, we can take screenshot.
I'll get it to you all so you can study this, because when you're reading books and you're studying anywhere, listening to any classes, anything, we should be thinking of these are the questions that Prabhupada gave. This was in 1969. 1975 in Mayapur, he gave everybody a Bhakti Shastra test. It was something like this, a little bit different. I haven't found that copy yet, but this was Prabhupada's type of questions. And because he's trying to teach us how to understand Krishna and how to explain Krishna to the people. The whole point of studying is to get some realization so we can share it with others. So if we're preaching, people are going to ask us things like this. What is the aim of, what is your goal? Why are you practicing Krishna consciousness? Is it a religion? They always ask us in America. And if you say, well, it's a religion, many people say, I don't know, I don't want anything to do with it. Modern society, they want to be spiritual, but not religious. That's a big fashionable thing to say nowadays in America. And amazing when they say not religious means they don't believe there's God. They just, they have some idea of spiritual, you're just a good person, or, you don't hurt people or things like that. religion and faith, and just basic questions are very important. All right, so now we can, is Shalika back? No. Where did he go? So. So now you're happy, what are we down to now? The rareness of Krishna consciousness?
The rareness of.
Did you finish the whole? Yeah. Okay, the rareness of
Pure devotional
No.
service.
Okay, there it is.
Very good. Sorry.
Preliminary phase. Somebody, Kumar,
Thank you.
please read, don't read.
The rareness of devotional service. The some phase of ritual life, in the preliminary stage of spiritual life, there are differences of authorities and similar processes for attaining self-realization. However, even if the executor of these processes is without any material desire, he cannot do devotional service. Aspiring and assigned by oneself alone to achieve devotional service is also very full, because Krishna has not agreed to award devotional service to merely anyone. Krishna can easily offer a person material happiness or even liberation, but he does not agree very easily to award a person engagement in his devotional service. Devotional service can in fact attain only through the mercy of pure devotee. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Masha 151, it said, by the mercy of the spiritual master, who is a pure devotee, and by the mercy of Krishna, one can achieve the platform of devotional service. There is no other way. There is no other way. The rarity of such service is so confirmed in Tantra Sastri, where Lord says to Sati, my dear Sati, if one is very fine so far, analyzing the different processes of knowledge, he can achieve liberation from the myriad and performance ritualistic sacrifice commended in the Vedas. One can be elevated to that form of positivity and thereby enjoy material comfort of life to the fullest extent. But all such endeavors can hardly offer anyone the words to the Lord, not even if one tries for it by such process for many thousands of years. In Bhagavatam, it's also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj that merely personal effort or by the instruction of higher authorities, one cannot attain to the stage of devotional service. One must be blessed by the dust of pure devotee, of a devotee, who is completely from the contamination of material desires. The 15th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th chapter, verse 10, Narada also says to Yudhishthira, dear king, it is Lord Krishna, known as Mukunda, who is eternal protector of Pandavas and Yadus. He is also your spiritual master and the star in every respect. He is the only worshipable God for you. He is very dear and affectionate, and he is the director of all activities, both individual and familiar. And what more, he sometimes carried out your orders as if he were your messenger. My dear king, how very fortunate you are, because for others, all these services given to you by the Supreme will not even be dreamed of. The purpose of this verse is that Lord really offers liberation, but he rarely agrees to offer a devotional service. Because devotional service, the Lord himself becomes purchased by the devotee. Hare Krishna.
That's why when
Hare
we get
Krishna.
tested, Maya is giving us trouble. It's to test us.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Maya
Uh,
makes trouble for us. She's testing on behalf of Krishna because she doesn't want people that aren't, to get, devotional services only for those who want only Krishna. We have other desires, we won't really get devotional service. Liberation, mystic powers, Krishna will give very easily. Someone does some tapasya, they do a certain formula, certain type of mantras, and they will get it. But bhakti is not like that. We don't get bhakti by some, passing a few exams or something. You only get bhakti by loving Krishna and wanting nothing else but Krishna. So Maya will offer us different things, trying to test, do you really want Krishna or not? Because when you get bhakti, Krishna becomes controlled by the devotee, controlled by love. You can do anything the devotee wants, but that's when a devotee wants only to serve Krishna. So we don't give any kind of facility for serving him. If someone wants sense gratification, then Krishna not going to give that. Okay, any comment or question so far? This is the basis of, the whole nectar devotion and the whole bhakti yoga practice process. Anybody?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
What are your
Hare Krishna.
realizations?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, what are your realizations so far?
Not realization. I just want to know, many people, they don't even know who is Krishna and what is devotional service. Then how they will come in this life in Krishna consciousness?
Well, how did you come? By the mercy of devotees. That go out and teach people. That's how. That's why we're obliged. Somebody taught us, somebody went to the trouble, now we want to give it to others.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
That's the only way, by the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda, but that mercy is given by the devotees. Okay, so any other? Now, point is to get the feeling of this, that we really believe this, you have faith. Important thing is to have faith. That Krishna is the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master to represent Krishna. And if we follow the spiritual master, Krishna will be pleased. If we just try our best to follow the best deity worshipper, the biggest donator, you just have to try. Haribol? Can you get
Yes, Maharaj.
Pani Bahod Garam?
Water.
Bahod Garam. Boiling hot water, bubbling.
What? Boiled water.
Bahod Garam.
Apachi.
Super hot.
Okay.
Full.
Full, na? Full mark.
complete hot.
Okay,
Hot as it can be, boiling, bubbling.
okay.
Okay, somebody, the happiness of becoming one with the Supreme. So this is what the Mayavadis are trying to do. They think they can become God, or they can become the same as God or something. So here's explaining the real truth. Okay, somebody read it. Raganuga, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. The happiness of becoming one
Hare
with
Krishna Maharaj.
the Supreme.
Amen.
Srila Rupa Goswami says that if Brahmananda, or the happiness of becoming one with the Supreme, is multiplied by 1 trillion fold, it is still cannot compare to an atomic fraction of the happiness derived from the ocean of devotional service. In the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, Prahlad Maharaj, whilst satisfying Lord Nrsimha Dev by his prayers, says, "My dear Lord of the universe, I am feeling transcendental pleasure in your presence and have become merged in the ocean of happiness. I now consider the happiness of Brahmananda to be no more than the water in the impression left by a cow's hoof in the earth, compared to this ocean of bliss. Similarly, it is confirmed in the Bhavata Dipika Shrida Swami commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. My dear Lord, some of the fortunate persons who are swimming in the ocean of your nectar of devotion and who are relishing the nectar of the narration of your pastimes, certainly know ecstasies which immediately minimize the value of the happiness derived from religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Such a transcendental devotee regards any kind of happiness other than devotional service as no better than straw in the streets. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Now, if you're, unless you studied Buddhism, or not even Buddhism, but, you know, so-called yoga, Indian philosophy, they'll always talk about this merging into the Supreme, becoming the same, becoming no more identity. And there's some sort of ananda to it, saying that compared to the bliss of devotional services, even 1 trillion times that pleasure is like a drop in the ocean. And that's what we'll get when we really chant with devotion, with complete faith. Then we'll get that feeling. Okay, attracting Krishna, that's what we want to do. Everybody's trying to
Attracting Krishna.
somebody, right?
I'm reading, all right.
I'm just saying something. Everybody wants to attract somebody. So you have so many different haircuts. You think, boy, I like, I would be attracted to this haircut or this fashion or this car.
Maharaj is speaking, so
But that's all just a waste of energy. Trying to attract, material people that are just attracted to your show you make. We want to attract Krishna. Now, you don't attract Krishna by dressing, even shave your head or anything. Krishna likes that, but ultimately it's a deeper thing. And that's who we should really want to attract Krishna. We want Krishna to notice us, be happy with. Okay, somebody read Rupa Goswami.
Srila Rupa Goswami has stated that devotional service attracts even Krishna. Krishna attracts everyone, but devotional service attracts Krishna. The symbol of devotional service in the highest degree is Radharani. Krishna is called Madana Mohana, which means that he is so attractive that he can defeat the attraction of thousands of cupids. But Radharani is still more attractive, for she can even attract Krishna. Therefore, devotees call her Madana Mohana Mohini, the attractor of the attractor of Cupid. To perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of Radharani, and devotees in Vrindavan put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve perfection in their devotional service. In other words, devotional service is not an activity of the material world. It is directly under the control of Radharani. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the Mahatmas or great souls are under the protection of Devi Prakriti, the internal energy, Radharani. So, being directly under the control of the internal potency of Krishna, devotional service attracts even Krishna himself. This fact.
Stop. Who knows that verse in the Bhagavad Gita? Mahatma. It starts with the word Mahatma. I'm not sure the verse number. Mahatmanas tumam parta daivim prakritimashita bhajant janana manaso gatva bhutarim avyayam. That's Bhagavad Gita 9:13. So we see how Prabhupada is always referring to Bhagavad Gita throughout all his talks, sometimes in one lecture, 5 or 6 verses, always, because that's the basis we need to learn. So Mahatmanas tumam parta, the great souls, Mahatma means great soul, it's not just a family name. Then unto me, Daivim Prakritim Ashrita, they've taken shelter of the divine energy, meaning Radharani. Then Bhajanti Ananya Manasa, without deviation of the mind, they're rendering devotional service, knowing that Krishna is the source of everything. Everything comes from Krishna. They're fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Now, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says like that, if you get this knowledge, then you will serve me. If you get this, you'll serve me. If you get here, you'll serve me. That's what will happen when someone really understands Krishna. So note down that verse number and study it, please. Okay, next read.
This fact is corroborated by Krishna.
Someone else, that's, variety. Anandinanam.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, this fact is corroborated.
This fact is corroborated by Krishna in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th chapter, verse 20, where he says, "My dear Uddhava, you may know it from me that the attraction I feel for devotional service rendered by my devotees is not to be attained even by the performance of mystic yoga, philosophical speculation, ritualistic sacrifice, the study of the Vedanta, the practice of severe austerities, or giving of everything in charity. These are, of course, very nice activities, but they are not as attractive to me as the transcendental loving service." Upwards.
Now, just a minute. So we see it, Nigeria especially, but I guess Ghana also. So many people advertising India, mystic power, and different things like that, healing the diseases. Those things don't attract Krishna at all. And Krishna is a supreme mystic. So any little mystic power, and someone usually, they don't really have mystic power, they just do some trick. The real power is Bhakti Yoga. All right. So Krishna is attracted by devotional service driven by devotees. Trying to please Krishna, that whatever you do, offer it to Krishna within boundaries. You can't say, well, I'm going to get drunk and offer that to Krishna. I'm going to kill a cow and offer it to Krishna. You have to know exactly what Krishna likes. But the idea is we chant for Krishna, we do everything for Krishna. Okay, next. Same Anandini.
Okay, all right. How Krishna becomes attracted by devotional service of his devotee is described by Narada in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 10th chapter, verse 48 and 49. There, Narada addressed King Yudhishthira, where the king is appreciating the glories of the character of Prahlad Maharaj. A devotee always appreciates the activities of other devotees. Yudhishthira Maharaj was appreciating the qualities of Prahlad, and that is one symptom of a pure devotee. A pure devotee never thinks himself great. He always thinks that other devotees are greater than himself. The king was thinking, okay, there. The king was the thing is not that stable.
Allah is actually
Okay.
a beauty of the
The king was thinking Maharaj Prahlad is actually a devotee of the Lord, while I am nothing.
Yeah, I can see that on the screen.
And while thinking this, he was addressed by Nanda as follows: "My dear King Yudhishthira, you, the Pandava brothers, are the only fortunate people in this world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has appeared on this planet, and he is presenting himself to you as ordinary human being. He is always with you in all circumstances. He is living with you and covering himself from the eye of others. Others cannot understand that he is the Supreme Lord, but he is still living with you as your cousin, as your friend, and even as your messenger. Therefore, you must know that nobody in this world is more fortunate than you." In Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna appeared in his universal form, Arjuna prayed, "My dear Krishna, I thought of you as my cousin brother, and so I have shown disrespect to you in so many ways, calling you Krishna or friend, but you are so great that I could not understand." So that was the position of the Pandavas. Although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the greater among all greats, He remained with those royal brothers, being attracted by their devotion, by their friendship, and by their love. That is the proof of how great this process of devotional service is. It can attract even the Supreme Personality of Godhead. God is great, but devotional service is greater than God because it attracts Him. People who are not in devotional service can never understand what great value there is in rendering service to the Lord. Hare Krishna.
So there's a story, I think it was Vasudev and Yudhishthira and Duryodhana were both there. And either Krishna or Vasudev, he told Duryodhana to go in the village and try to find someone better than him. So Duryodhana went all day and he came back and he said, I've been to every house in the village and I can't find anyone better than me. That's the demon. Then he asked Yudhishthira, you go and see if you can find anyone lower than yourself. So Yudhishthira was gone long time. He came back and said, I've searched and I can't find anyone lower than me. That's the pure devotee's consciousness, right? So we're aspiring for that kind of understanding. That's why we want to study the great devotees. I study Prahlad, I study Yudhishthira, we study everybody, especially Prabhupada, because we have a direct.
Very hard.
Good. Very good, thank you.
Full.
Yeah.
इधर पहले इस वाले को कर दो.
Just the floor.
Yes. अरे इस वाले को कर दो. बेडशीट नहीं लगाना है. बेडशीट नहीं लगाना.
Yeah, we don't need new towels, they're always giving it.
झाड़ू पोछा कर दो, towel दे दो. दो towel.
And this is not a good time.
Not good.
After 30 minutes. I'm busy, I'm gonna
Okay.
listen to this.
This side, Mara. This side.
They can do it quietly and without moving everything, so I can't find anything.
घंटे बाद. इस वाले को अभी कर दो.
Okay. Okay, next in Bhagavad Gita. Who is next? Who will read next?
Okay, yeah. In Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna appeared in his universal form, Arjuna prayed, my dear Krishna, I thought of you as my cousin brother. And so I have shown this respect to you in so many ways, calling you Krishna or friend. But you are so great that I could not understand. So what is the position of the Pandavas? Although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the greatest among all greats, he remained with those royal brothers, being attracted by their devotion, by their friendship, and by their love. That is the proof of how great this process of devotional service is. It can attract even the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Okay. You can attract even the sort of personality of Godhead. God is great, but devotional service is greater than God because it attracts him. People who are not in devotional service can never understand what great value there is in rendering service to the Lord. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 1 of the Nectar Devotion, which is telling us what's coming, basically. So any comment? Somebody have a realization or questions?
Yeah, Arvisha Maharaj.
Yes.
Yeah, Arvisha Maharaj, I would like to know what is the difference between realization and faith? Is it the same as faith is the same as realization, or one is different from each other? Hare Krishna.
Well, faith is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita as trusting in something sublime. Faith means, you believe it, you have trust. Krishna is saying, surrender to me, you'll get all this benefit. Follow the spiritual master, you'll get all those things. Chant the holy name, you go back to Godhead. We have to have faith, because when we do it with faith, then the effect is much better. If someone is just doing it out of curiosity or something, and then some people say, well, my faith is Christianity or your faith is Muslim. That's not what we mean by faith. Faith means complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Strong belief in the religion based on spiritual conviction rather than proof. Not just, scriptural proof, but on your own conviction. Realization means, you can apply your faith. You can understand, the scripture and realize how it is true or how you have faith. I usually look in the dictionary to see what they say. Realization, an act of becoming fully aware of something as a fact. Example, when a person sitting in a boring meeting understands that they need a new job, that's an example of realization. Or when you achieve your goal. And there's many definitions. Figuring out something, understanding something, but faith means you trust, you really believe. You understand? And,
Yes, please go.
how many times in the Bhagavad Gita, of course, realized knowledge means, you know it and it's true. You're able to apply it.
Yeah, copy.
You're able to apply the knowledge in your life when you realize it. But faith is mentioned so many times. Chanting with faith, doing it, whatever you do with faith, then we get the real results. Without faith, you don't get as much result. And if you're imitating faith, you don't really have faith, but you pretend, then you just get imitation Krishna. Lord Nityananda he opened the marketplace of the holy name, and the cost was faith to get the holy name, how much faith you have. So if you look in Prabhupada's Veda base, the word faith is there 1,174 times. 11,714 times the word faith. So it's obviously very important. So there's different levels of faith, Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttama, and firm faith. Really, we want where you don't get shook up. If somebody challenges you, someone says, you're all wrong. So Krishna says, one who listens at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reaction and attains the planets where the pious dwell. Shraddhavan. Shraddha means faith, very important. So when you realize Krishna, you'll have faith, you'll get faith. Does that help?
Yes, please, Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
You get faith by associating with people who have faith. If we associate with people who doubt or they criticize the guru, they criticize the society, then our faith will get weakened. And then when we don't have faith, we say, why should I chant? Why should I follow the principles? What will I get out of it? And if you believe it, spiritual master will believe it, then we'll continue to practice because we have faith, even though we may not perceive like, some kind of spectacular results.
Okay, so but Maharaj, we always say faith can change. That is why somebody is a Christian today, he can be a Muslim tomorrow. But what happened to a devotee, someone who we can say realize that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, but along the line, such a person will create devotional service and then join other religious sects of organizing, which is lower. So does that mean realization too can also be changed at a point in time, or you can see that that realization is not the perfect realization? I hope my question is clear.
Yeah, I think it's clear. You want to try it again?
Yeah, what I mean is, we often say faith can change. That is why someone who is a Christian today can become
Okay, I got
a
that
Muslim.
far. Yeah. That's a different.
Okay, but my question is, what happens to someone who is a devotee, being doing well in devotional service, but along the line, such a person will quit devotional service and then go back to the material world or even join some other religious organization which is low or even low than where you was before. What could be the fate of that? Is it that the realization that he has not enough, not the complete one that he's having? Or can we then say realization too can be changed?
Well, first place, I mentioned that some people say, well, my faith is Christian, your faith is Krishna. That's just saying your particular faith. But the other meaning of faith is that you believe it. You have faith, trust in your system, whatever it is. So, but as far as a devotee, if someone is not really practicing attentively, they don't have faith, but they're practicing anyway because they just need a place to live or they need food or they're planning to steal money. You never know what someone's motive is. And then, or if they become offensive to devotees, then Krishna removes them from the association of devotees. And they'll think, well, I'm staying away because I'm so much better than the rest of them. But actually, Krishna is kicking them out because they're criticizing devotees. So we've seen that, many times. Someone seems to be like such a good devotee and they're doing, but they get proud. And when they get proud, thinking I'm a better devotee, then they start to criticize other devotees. And then they fall down. Okay, want to read a little more?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly, the ultimate goal of devotional service is to attain Krishna. However, from what we've read so far, it is only Krishna who can give devotional service or who can help us to get him. So how do you relate these two issues? To attain Krishna, Krishna have to give it. So
Yeah.
I want to know, is it possible for anyone to work his way out to attain Krishna through devotional service if he is the only personality who can give it? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Krishna knows the heart. So Brahmati Bhuyati Kon Bhagavan Jeev. The soul is wandering throughout many universes. And then by the mercy of Krishna, he gets a guru. And then the guru teaches him about Krishna. So he can connect to Krishna. It's all ultimately Krishna. He's doing everything. He knows your heart. So when he knows someone is seeking, he'll arrange to meet devotees, to get, somehow or other, he'll arrange things.
Hare Krishna. Please, I've been thinking about this. Sometimes I feel like our philosophy or understanding about God, our approach towards God is too high. And sometimes I ask myself, are we trying to make ourselves angels to become angels? And is it really possible for us to attain it? Because it seems like we have to put everything aside from what we've read so far concerning the pure devotional service. It means we shouldn't even have any desire. But is it really possible to live in this age without any desire?
No, it's never possible to live without desire. We have to purify our desires. If we're desiring sense gratification, then we go to hell. We have to desire devotional service, desire Krishna, purify desires. The soul only power is the desire, and then Krishna makes all the arrangements. We don't want to be without desire. That's the Mayavadi talk. We try to say that over and over again. But we have to have no material desire. That means you have to have we want spiritual desire. We purify our path, Instead of being on the path to hell, we want to get on the path to Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Oh, Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
Please, concerning desires, how can we maintain this material body and all our desires will be spiritual? How are we going to maintain our family? How are we going to even maintain our body?
It really, well, first place, Krishna's maintaining everyone if you look around. Right?
Yes, please.
Everyone is being maintained. So your desire, your goal is to get to Krishna. In order to do that, we might have to work, we might have to, cook or be a farmer or, raise your children. But the goal is Krishna. Everything should be working towards Krishna. Not that you have to just sit down and chant 24 hours a day. If you could do that, you'd also be maintained. Krishna would take care of everything. But we have to cultivate knowledge and ignorance side by side. That's a verse from the Isha Upanishad. Vidyam Chavijam Chaya Tad Vedabayam Saha. Anybody know that one? Anybody know it? Salika there?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, you know that verse? It's, I don't know,
Vidyam
12 or
Cha-
13. Isha
trying to
Upanishad.
see.
Vidyam Chavidya Chaya Sat. One has to cultivate knowledge and ignorance side by side.
Yeah. I think let me put it on the screen, Maharaj. I think I know the verse.
Then I have to stop this screen sharing.
Yeah, Vidyam Cha is actually 11th verse of the Isha Upanishad.
Very important verse, actually.
Yes, Isha Upanishad 11, the mantra 11.
Actually, all three, 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah.
They all go together.
Okay, I'll start from 9. I'll start sharing from 9.
Yeah.
The 9 says, Andam tamam pravisyante yevidyan upasatehe tato buya ivate tamo yau vidyayam rataha. Those who engage in the culture of science activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. Then the 10th says that Anyad eva ho vidyaya, Nyad aho avidyaya, iti susurma dira naham yena stad vishashat shire. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of science. Very beautiful. And the 11th itself says, Vidyam chavidyam chayas tad veda bayam sahaha avidyaya mrityum tritva vidyaya mritam asnute. Only one who can learn the process of science and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality.
All right. You want to explain a little bit? You've been supporting a big family and everything and being a devotee for so many years, right?
Yeah. It's a beautiful verse. I actually love those verses because the general tendency of everyone is that is out of anxiety, we tend to want to do things ultimately for our sense gratification. But ultimately, if one looks deeply, he realizes that despite even our endeavor, even despite whatever we do, we don't decide what happens. So having this understanding that our only our endeavor does not produce the result we achieve or we experience. So as Krishna explained in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, one understands that it requires nature, it requires Krishna as time for one's endeavor of activities to become fructified or to produce whatever result. So having that knowledge, so I apply that in my family life. Even the duty of a family man, I try my best to work as hard as possible, and that as much as it does not disturb my spiritual activities. In other words, I keep the spiritual time for the spiritual time. I make sure that my life is separated in such a way that every aspect of this, cognizance of nature, cognizance of Krishna, and of the reality that I have to do some physical activity. So I put these three together whenever I'm trying to take a decision or do anything. And it has been helpful.
Okay.
Kavicandra Prabhu sound is up. Kavi,
That sounds good.
Prabhu Kavi, you want to say something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances, Guru Maharaj.
Oh, Haribol.
Thank
Okay,
Guru Maharaj.
Kavi's awesome. He's maintaining a business and he's maintaining his family and he's maintaining Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. I was just following your discussion with the devotees, and Raganuga Bhakti Prabhu was asking. So I just want to say, make some contribution regarding just quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is like what Raganuga Bhakti is saying. Yes, we have the material body, and we are spiritual inside the material body. So we have to maintain the spirits, and we have to maintain the body. And the Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is one of our acharyas, and also who's a family man, he has given us the right consciousness to do that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that Krishna, my house, my children, everything is yours. And I will work very hard to maintain your property. So this is the right consciousness to be. This kind of desire is considered to be desirelessness, because you are doing everything to please Krishna. It's not just for your own aggrandizement, just for the purpose of showing that you're a responsible man. No, you are doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna. And that is the consciousness of devotee. And that is what Guru Maharaj was trying to explain to us. That yes, we cannot be desireless, but the right desire is to desire to please Krishna in every of our aspect of life, both material and spiritual. That is just the little I said, let me contribute. Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for your explanation.
So we're in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 18, where Krishna says, I don't know the exact verse,
I think
by doing his own work, one can achieve perfection.
Yeah.
Because he's offering it to Krishna. That's what makes it spiritual. The work is the same. It's all consciousness. Depends on your consciousness and why you're doing it. So when we're maintaining a family, you're trying also to maintain them spiritually. So many people maintain their family by food and shelter. Animals do that. Lots of people do that. But everybody lives, just look around you. The beggars, the madmen, somehow they're eating, somehow they're staying alive, they're sleeping. And Krishna is providing for everybody according to their karma. All right. Anything else? Because time is almost up. So we start a new chapter then, the chapter 2. The first stage is a devotion.
Okay, that will be tomorrow.
Yeah. And Salika, give me your, let's see, you have a WhatsApp?
Yeah, okay.
You have,
I'm putting the number on the chat room for you, my right?
But I wish I'm right.
okay, I just put those questions in your Facebook Messenger, Salika.
Okay, my right.
And you try to share it with everybody in this group. Prabhupada's original Bhakti Shastra questions. And you see how personal Prabhupada was. He said he would personally judge the papers.
Okay. I'll put the questions in.
But if you put it in a chat, as soon as you close the Zoom, the chat's lost.
Yeah,
So
I'll put
just
it
send it to the group, by however you do it.
that's what I'm trying to do.
You can
I'll
do
send
that
it.
afterwards. All right, so I think time is up.
Yes, ma'am.
Any last
Yeah, but-
realization?
Yeah, Maharaj, I would like to know, we heard you are not doing well physically. I would like to know how you are. How is your condition now? Please.
Dana Prabhu, what did you say?
No,
Yeah, what I mean is, we learned Maharaj is not feeling well, so we would like to know, is he doing better now?
How is
Maharaj is asking about your health.
My health is all right. I don't
Yes,
know I don't know what kind of hidden madness is going on. Otherwise, I'm quite all right. I haven't been sick. I just have some skin disease and different things. I'm trying to work it out. All right.
Okay,
Yes,
So
Maharaj.
thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
And
Hare.
the more we hear about book distribution, prasadam distribution, the more we become healthy and the world becomes healthy. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Hare.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Jai Guru Maharaj. Haribo.
Thanks, Kavicandra Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Okay, thank you, devotees. So we meet the same time, same platform tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.